anxiety, fear, existential dread. These feelings are there, and they feel like they're not within our control. They feel like it's something that just happens. It's something that comes upon us. It's something that is thrust upon us, and it just is. And yet it couldn't be further from the truth. These things, anxiety, fear, all those things, are 100% within your control. They couldn't be anything more in your control. You see, they come from the fact that you feel like you've relinquished control. That you aren't in control of your own life. But you're always in control. But what's happened is you're focusing on things that aren't in your control. You're focusing on things that you can't dictate. So how do you take that back? How do you take back control and you squash that fear and anxiety, that stress and things that are taking control of your life and crippling you and paralyzing you? You take action. You know, the famous one is analysis by paralysis. Paralysis by analysis, sorry. That you have gotten far too caught up in analyzing the situation, in thinking about all the possible outcomes, by thinking about what could go wrong and what could go right and what needs to be done and how it needs to be done and all this kind of stuff. When in actual fact, what you need to do, what would transform your life, what would impact you on the greatest level, is just taking action. And as crazy as it is, even if it's the wrong action, even if it's not the right course of action, just taking action will calm you down. Getting in movement. And look, the ideal way is to get into movement around the thing that you're feeling anxious about, to get into movement around the thing that is giving you anxiety. But failing that, just move. You know, you're caught up in your head, you're all up in here, you've gone full cerebral. Get back to simpler forms. Work out, do some exercise, push your body, get some activities happening. Actually work yourself in that situation. Do hard shit, sweat, take yourself out of your mind and into your body, into that focus moment, and take control that way. Stay focused, stay present. Be aware of what you're doing and just focus on being in that moment. That's why they talk about when you have anxiety and depression and all these kinds of things, is meditation and all that kind of stuff. Exercise done correctly is a physical version of meditation. Zone out. If you truly want to do it, take out the headphones. Don't listen to music. Don't do anything. Just be there. Be in the moment. Focusing on how hard you can contract that muscle or how hard you can push yourself or whatever format it may be. But exercise shifts the state. It shifts you out of your head and into your body. And it releases so much of that tension. It releases you from being caught up in your head. And most of the time, all the things that you think are going wrong are in your head. They're stories that you created. Oh, I'm going to butcher this quote, but it's a Socrates quote, and he's like, a man dies 1,000 times in his head rather than just once in real life. We build these stories up in our head. We create these figments of our imagination, and the worst case scenarios, and what if this happens, and what if this happens, and what if this happens? When in actual fact, if you just stopped, if you took a step back and you centered yourself in your body, you'd realize that it is all in your head. And beyond that, we have to step away from focusing on the things that we cannot change, the things that you can't do anything about, and just focus on you and this moment and what you can control. And what you can control is your thoughts, your actions, and your habits. That's it. Everything else is outside of your control. But if you work to your best capacity, if you focus on those three things and you showed up and you gave it fucking everything you had, and the outcome doesn't go your way, such is life. But you are in control, and I firmly believe that if you've done that, you can rest your head at night knowing that you've done the work, and it wasn't meant to be that time. Now you go back, you go away and you work on it, and you work on it more, and you get better and better and better. But you can't lament over things that are outside of your control. If you've done the work that you could, that's a win. And that's a hard thing to wrap your head around, that the win isn't winning itself. That's a bonus. Getting the W is just a bonus. What you need to focus on is, did you do the work? Did you show up as the best version of yourself? Did you give it everything you could? Did you leave it all on the table? Was there anything else you could have done? If you can confidently answer a resounding no to that question, then you won. You won life. And that's all you can do with it. That's all you can give it, is the ability to just show up and give your all. The ability to go out and leave it all on the table. There's nothing more that you can do after that point. So, if you focus on the process, that's winning. You know, it's the forget your feelings, focus on momentum. Forget your feelings, focus on the process and doing the work. That's why I talk about winning the day. It's why I focus on pulling back. And I'm still not an expert on this. I'm not going to lie, I'm going through a process at the moment, and I keep having to pull myself back. I'm getting anxious, I'm getting up in my head, I'm focusing on things that are outside of my control. And I pulled it back, and I took a moment this morning, and I was like, have I been doing the work? Is my anxiety that I'm focusing on the future, things out like further ahead, or is the anxiety that I feel like I haven't done the work? And it was both. I haven't done everything in my power to win this area of my life, and it's an area of my business. I haven't done everything in my power to win at that. So I'm anxious and frustrated with myself on that front. And then the second part is I am focusing on things in the future that are outside my control. I cannot change them. I cannot control whether they come to fruition or not. But what I can control is today. What I can control is my actions today. And I have been leaving potentially huge amounts on the table. So I have to pull myself back. I had to sit in that moment and go, this is on me. My anxiety, my fear, my frustration is all my fault. And as I said, taking extreme ownership is the most beautiful and powerful thing when utilized that way. Because that anxiety, that fear, that frustration isn't out of my control. It's 100% within my control. I can fix that. I can deal with that anxiety, that stress, that frustration today by taking better actions. I can deal with that by doing work today that I have been delaying. I've been sitting too comfortably in my comfort zone and haven't pushed myself far enough out of it. So that anxiety is all my fault. And that's the greatest gift ever. Because if it's all my fault, it also means it's completely within my power and capacity to fix it, to address it, and make it go away. So yeah, our realities and how we feel and how we respond to it is 100% dictated by our thoughts, our habits, and our actions. So I'm not happy with where I'm at. I don't like waking up with this weight on my chest. I don't like where I'm sitting at the moment. Fan-fucking-tastic. I can change it. I can fix it. I can take back that control and deal with it. My emotions don't run my life. I run my life and I run my emotions. I've let them take control that isn't theirs to take. So now I consciously take back control. I consciously focus on my thoughts. Now I consciously start focusing on my habits and my actions. And they are not lining up with the work ethic and the man that I know that I am. Therefore, they are creating emotions and stories and anxiety that shouldn't fucking be there. So if I shift what I'm doing and start focusing on the areas that I know I should, start doing the work that I know I should, all of that goes away. So the most empowering thing, if you can wrap your head around it and accept it, that it is all your fault, that it is your doing. So act like it. Act like it is all your fault. Act like it is your doing. And things will get better. Things will improve drastically. If you start acting like the man that you are, and you start taking back control of your actions. All negative emotions are created by not being in the present moment. They are all created by focusing on things out of your control. And it doesn't mean that those things aren't going to happen again. It doesn't mean that anxiety, depression, fear, all those kinds of things aren't going to rear their ugly heads. They are. It's part of resistance. It's part of pushing forward. It's part of the growth phase. They are still going to happen. You cannot prevent them from happening. It's like you can't prevent things from going wrong in your life. But what you can control is how you respond to them. What you can control is the actions that you take when they happen, and work towards minimizing the effects on you. Resilience and perseverance is measured by when shit hits the fan, when things go wrong, when obstacles arise, how long it takes you to recover and get back into action. The optimal level is that nothing changes. You accept them, you note them, you face them head on, and then you continue to move forward. It doesn't mean that you stop feeling those things. It just means you stop letting it affect you and preventing you from doing what has to be done. The most successful people in the world act faster, respond faster, and don't stop. They don't lose the momentum. They just keep fucking moving forward. And that's how you get better, and that's how you improve, because you take those things head on. You face them, you deal with them, you address them, and you just keep moving forward. That's the difference. That's how you progress. That you go, great, here's an obstacle in my path. Now the obstacle is the way. It's not turn around and go back. It's not sit and cry at the base of the giant boulder in your way. It goes, fantastic. Growth is on the other side. Something great is on the other side. Progression, a leap forward, a timeline jump, whatever it might be. Your greatness is on the other side of the obstacle. So don't look at it as a negative, look at it as a positive, as an opportunity to progress forward, as an opportunity to become better, an opportunity to face it head on and do what is required. An obstacle in your path is an obstacle that is going to change you for the better, if you can face it head on. So realize that anxiety, that fear, that dread is a positive thing. It's an indicator of what you're not doing. It's an indicator of the area that you need to improve. It's an indicator that you are not doing what is required and that you can and should be doing it. Resistance is the best format of showing you what to do. Resistance is this giant beacon saying, this is the way if you're willing to progress, if you're willing to do what is required, if you're willing to do the work. Resistance isn't the enemy. It's a tool and a signpost to what has to be done. If you're willing to A, listen, and B, do the work that comes with it. It's only the enemy if you get discouraged and quit every time you face resistance. No, don't run away. You know, it's like that adage, what is it? Fear has two meanings. Fear everything and run, or face everything and rise. When fear rears its ugly head, face it and rise. Rise to the occasion. Rise up and face it head on. Rise up and deal with that. Deal with it. Take it head on. Realize that it's a signal that you are on the right path. And the harder that path gets, the darker it gets, the more thorns on the side of the road and obstacles in the way, the further down the line you are, the further you are towards reaching your goal. And you've got to shift your thinking on that, because every time you think on that and go, the further I get down this path, the less traveled it is. Good. Good. it means it's harder for people to catch up with you. It means it's harder for people to reach where you want to reach. It means less people have done the work that you are now willing to do. So don't be frustrated when you get anxious or depressed or frustrated with those things. Instead, be elated, get excited about it, because it's indicating that you are doing something right, that you are on the right path, that you are progressing forward, you are knocking on that door of growth, and it's gonna answer if you just keep knocking. And if it doesn't, you bang down that door, you crush it, you knock it in, you kick it in as hard as you can, and you keep fucking moving forward. That you have decided that no matter what life throws at you, no matter what is in your way, you are moving forward. And use these cues, these setbacks, these anxiety, this depression, all these things, these obstacles, as an indicator that you are on the right path. Not as a deterrent, as a sign to stop, but as a sign that you are doing the right work, that you are progressing towards things that other people cannot do. That's a positive. That's where you want to be. That's what you want to be doing. Take it as the good sign that it is. And keep moving forward. Keep progressing forward. Because you can do fucking anything you want. Anything you set your mind to. But it's about being in charge of your emotions. It's about overriding them. It's about taking back control. That realizing that you are always in control. That everything that's going on is your fault. And that's the greatest thing that can ever happen, as long as you utilize it that way. As long as you take back control and go, yes, I am in charge. I am in control of these actions, and I am going to act accordingly. I am going to do what is required. And win the day. That I am not going to let these feelings and emotions dictate what happens. I dictate to them. Because they are not you. Your feelings and emotions are not you. They're just something that you feel. So take back control. Show them that you are the one in control. Show them that you are the one in charge. And start acting like it so that you can become the man that you know you want to and should be. It's your time. If you're willing to do that work. If you're willing to override that fear and anxiety and take control with your thoughts, your habits, and your actions. So if you're ready to do that, if you're ready to take the actions and take back control, shoot me a message. Let's get you into chasing greatness. Let's take control of your life and start building those habits that make you the man who can override his feelings and emotions. If you're not quite there, click the link in my bio. Grab my top 10 tools to transform your mental toughness. And lastly, if you enjoyed this, found value, if there was something of note in here, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought about this. And spread the word. I'm here every single day, teaching from the front, leading by example. So help me get this word out. Help me reach more people. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And I'll be back again tomorrow. Until then.